Hello, good evening. I thought I'd do another one of my little allotment videos. It's been a while. Amersham has now been officially certified as a desert and it will never rain here again. So the allotment's been a place for coming up and watering for quite a few weeks now. But as you can see, it's looking quite splendid. So I'll do a little wander around. Why not? So, well, we'll start off here. So these are the main crop potatoes, which, as you can see, are, well, they're ready. They're ready now. They would normally carry on going until, well, any time September, but they're pretty much done. But I think underneath there, sorry, there's a train going by. Of course, there's a train going by. Yeah, but underneath there, I think there's some pretty good potatoes. From what I've seen, I've had a little gut. So, and the lovely thing is, because the soil's so dry, there wouldn't be any problem with slugs. So I've watered those just occasionally, not very much, which is why they've sort of given up the ghost. And in fact, over, you can see by the beans, the potatoes, because they get a bit more water, because I've been watering the beans, they're a bit greener there, but they're just about done. But yeah, I think they'll be okay. So they've survived. They've been good this summer. Then here's my French beans, the tower of French beans. They're having a bit of a rest at the moment because they've been cropping like mad, and we've been eating them lots and lots, all sorts of lovely recipes. And now I've given them a good water and a good feed, and so they're still looking quite well. I think, and there's some flowers starting to come again. You can see in there, and some buds. So I think they're going to be coming again with a bit of luck. And quite funny, in amongst all those, there's a pumpkin which is growing up the trellis. So the ground's down there, so it's coming up through there. So we'll see, because I'll show you in a minute how big this variety gets. We'll see how long it stays up there. But I think when they're hanging, I think the stem strengthens to take whatever weight it is, and because it does it day by day, then they get actually quite strong and they can stay up there. So we'll see. Quite fun anyway. Round here is the actual plant that it's coming from. So that's the base, and then it's growing up through there. So yeah. So and a quick look into my comfrey container, where you'll see it's beautiful. I mean, it's humming, absolutely humming. But that's frothing and beautifully and stinky. But that's what I'm feeding everything on at the moment, which is lovely. Although normally comfrey grows up again 2 or 3 times, but this year with the lack of rain, it hasn't. I've chopped it once, and it's doing that now. It's not really come again. So there's only so much it can do. And then round here, so one lovely success has been this wild mallow. I mean, look at that. Beautiful. So it's done really well. I mean, it doesn't ever get watered, of course, no need, but look at it, it's beautiful. And we've got lots and lots of seed pods, lots of seeds, so it's going to go mad next year. So I'm going to grab some of those and take them home for the garden, because it's totally drought resistant, the bees love it, and it's really pretty. So yeah, that's a good success. Then here, this is quite strange. So here's another pumpkin, another gourd, which grew huge, and there's absolutely nothing on it. But if I go, I have to walk around quite rapidly to the other side of the bed, on the exact, planted only a few feet away, is this beauty. That one's growing, which is absolutely magnificent. So I've no idea why, but that's the way it goes. So that's lovely. That's ripening. Just one on that plant. I don't know if it's normal, but what seems to be happening is the pumpkins are getting one fruit on a bush, and then they're stopping. I think they're sort of deciding that they can only manage one this year with the heat and everything. That's a little insight into the way I think pumpkins think anyway. So yes, then we've got the corn. The corn is being fantastic this year. So we've started eating it already, which is great. There's another train. So you can see, for those who don't know, you can tell when the corn is ripe when these bits go brown. That's the sign that the cob is ripe and ready to eat. So you can see most of them are brown. So yeah, so we've been eating them. They're really sweet. I mean, they don't ever get cooked. They just get nibbled on and eaten straight from the plant, because they're absolutely delicious. Then I'll come round here. So yeah, here's some Rudbeckia seeds that I sowed that are about to start flowering. So I think those will be perennials. So I can put those in a separate bed afterwards. But they're looking quite well now. Here's some chard which I sowed when it was really hot and dry, and I've kept it watered. So that's going to be there for the winter. So I'm going to protect it from the pigeons and nibble at that all through the winter. So fresh greens, which is going to be lovely. And then over there is the brassica cage, and it's doing really well. So I don't water it that often. So at this end it's purple sprouting broccoli, but you can probably see it's really strong stems in there. It looks really, it lost a few leaves at the bottom with the heat, but they're all looking really well. And over here, that clump there, that's all sprouts, which again are looking. I don't know if you can hear the red kite. There's a red kite that always sits up in that tree there somewhere, and it calls out. So yeah, it's up there at the moment. But anyway, there's the sprouts, so they're looking really, really good. And I think most things are probably, hopefully, over the worst of the heat. At least it's still very dry and there's no rain forecast. But look, you've probably got a little sneak preview. Look at this side of this thing. I didn't even know that it was a pumpkin that got big. If I put my hand next to it, you can see it's huge. Look at it. And the plant, look at the plant, it's absolutely beautiful, it's magnificent. Look, it's going all the way over there, all the way here, all the way around here. Look, it just keeps on going. It's a beauty, it's a beauty. So that's just been watered with a watering can every other day, and with some liquid comfrey, and wow, it's looking amazing, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Here's some lettuce trees. Some nasturtiums, which are they're just frisking around where they fancy. Some more corn. This was planted a little bit earlier, so this is where we've been eating the first lot from. Really nice. It's funny how so I've taken this particular plant, I've eaten the 2 cobs off this, and it sort of stops. It sort of thinks, oh well, after all that effort, you've just gone and taken my cobs and my seeds and a way of reproducing. I'm just going to give up now. And it's sort of it's going yellow. But that's the only one we've taken both of them. But I think that's what happens. It's sort of done its bit, and it's had enough now. It sort of thinks that's it, time to go to sleep. So yeah, that's also more psychology. So I've done the psychology of pumpkins and beans. I think that's the psychology of sweet corn. Here's some more gourds. Now this was supposed to be butternut squash, but in fact it's more not squash, because there's nothing on them really. I mean, there's some flowers, and I'll keep on looking after them, and maybe there's some hope, but they've just been leafy, and no, nothing at all, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, it has been a bit of a year. I've got some sunflowers there which have finally started to flower, which is nice. And all along here, this is all the bits that I have for wildlife and pollinators, that bed. And it's very dry, but it's had a lot of life. I'll go over to the pond, because the pond is well, I've put some barley in to try and stop the algae. I thought it was working. Now I'm not totally so sure, but giving it a go anyway. But I've got a few baby frogs, which is really lovely. So in the spring, I had some spawn in here, and also there's a local farm where there's a pond that always dries out. So I went and grabbed a bit of a bucket of spawn from there and put that in. And so between the spawn that was laid here and the one from the farm, I've seen certainly a handful of tiny little baby frogs. So that's really lovely, really lovely. So hopefully they will. I can't see any at the moment. I'm beady-eyedly, however the phrase is, looking, but I can't see any. But yeah, there's definitely a few in there. So that's nice. And then it's now prime raspberry time. So let's see. Look at all this. There's some really lovely. These are the autumn raspberries. Lots and lots of autumn raspberries. Absolutely delicious this time of year, juicy. They struggled a bit. Some of them actually cooked on the plant when it was so hot, but now they're really coming good. And you can see there's loads all the way along. There's absolutely loads of them. So eating a lot of those at the moment, and they're just delicious. They're perfect. I mean, look at that. They're just Perfect raspberries, absolutely beautiful. Really, really, really nice. Then over here, the chard and beetroot. We've had some beetroot. I've made a very nice Latvian cold beetroot soup using these, which is really, in fact I'm going to make some more probably tomorrow. And there's some chard there. Now a lot of everything's going to, these are all going to flower, they're going to seed, which is unusual. They don't normally do it. I think again it's because of the conditions, but there's still plenty of leaves there to eat, so we're having that for tea tonight. So still plenty there, and with the ones I've sown that I showed you a bit ago, they're just about ready as well, so we'll have a constant supply, so that's worked out okay. Then I've grown some tomatoes outside, which is always a bit of a risk in England, but this year of course it's been a triumph. So yeah, really beautiful sweet. Oh, I mean, they really are amazing. So, and they're doing quite well, yeah. So lots of tomatoes here. There's another, look at this, it's beautiful. Look at that beautiful truss. Absolutely lovely. They're so full of flavour. I mean, it does make you gasp a bit. They're absolutely sweet as anything and warm, and and then we've got some more chard here, which is a beautiful vegetable. Beautiful. I mean, look, that's absolutely beautiful. So that's still going. That one I sowed and thought it was a disaster, but it's kept on going. In fact, it's looking really quite well now. Again, it's going to seed probably because of the conditions, although it's not as long lived as the perpetual spinach anyway, but still probably a bit early with the going to seed, but it's fine. Then over here we've got some more pumpkins, some more gourds, and you can see them, two nestling in there. So I think that's one per plant again, and that's the same type of gourd as I think it might be Atlantic Giant, but it's the same one as the huge one over the other side. So they're growing, we'll see how they get on. Over here is the end of the Viper's bugloss, which has been caked in bees, but it's still actually flowering. It's been flowering for weeks and weeks and weeks, even in this heat, without any water. So it's a wild flower, and they're so resilient. You can still, I mean, there's still bees around here. They're still like that, and I'm hoping that as you can just about start to see amongst there, that's it's all going to seed. So I'm hoping there's going to be clouds of seeds here, and it'll keep coming up every year from now on. Oh look, there's a beauty over there. Wait a minute, let me zoom in. Can you see that? Beautiful. I don't know what that is. It's a big insect, but it's very beautiful. Getting some sunshine, some warmth in the evening. Then over here, this bed, so this one I've not watered at all, so that was the strawberries there. They're just surviving. This is now a sea of rocket and chives and garlic chives. In fact, they're flowering, which are very pretty. Garlic chives there, and they seem to be spreading over everywhere, which is quite nice. They're always welcome. I've got there's also some parsley in there, and this is now I think it's dill. Yeah, I think it's dill. It might be fennel. No, I think it's dill or fennel. Dill or fennel, I can confirm, because I've got both of them growing, and actually when push comes to shove, I'm not actually sure. So this is fennel. That's why I thought it might not. No, I think it's dill. Which I'll go into the greenhouse in a second. So I've got some rosemary here, but these leaves are the Viper's bugloss from previous years that are going to flower next year. So that's really good. So once they start seeding themselves, that's a really good sign. That makes me happy. And then yes, in here we've got, well, I mean, look at it. So we've got like a forest of basil along the front, and it's the most fragrant basil imaginable. It's just breathtaking, absolutely lovely. And I've cracked it really in terms of growing in the greenhouse. I used to not be able to. Now I don't know what I've done, but I just put it in there in about May, sow the seeds, or actually that one there with the smaller leaves, see that one's from the supermarket. I bought some and planted it out. That's the one I've sown. You can see it's darker it's darker. It's lovelier actually. But both really fragrant. But I think this one, which is the Genovese basil from seed, that's spectacularly fragrant. And then look at the tomatoes. I mean, it's a fantastic year for tomatoes, because blight is a big problem with tomatoes some years and potatoes, but because it's been so dry, blight thrives on moist, sort of warm conditions, but it's just been so dry that I don't think blight's been a problem. So look, we've got tomatoes everywhere. Absolutely, they're just doing so well. So eating them just as a fruit all the time, just off the plant. Over there's padron peppers in that container. So hopefully they'll keep going and they'll crop, and we'll be able to saute those in a bit of olive oil with some sea salt. That would be really nice. And then over here we've got some chilies. So they're doing nicely. So look, got a lot of that chili. I've got the name somewhere, but of course I'm not organised enough to know what they are. There's some lovely chilies there. They're all supposed to be really hot ones. There's some more there. I mean, they're all doing, and some more on this one here. So they're all doing pretty well. There's only one that hasn't started fruiting yet, this one here. But overall, yeah, they're doing well. So actually, in a really droughty, well, can you be really droughty? It's either a drought or it's not a drought, really, isn't it? It's a drought year. Despite everything, the allotment is still. I mean, I've not really bought really very much fruit or veg. Certainly no veg for weeks, because we've been using the beans and the corn and the chard and all sorts of stuff from here, really. So yeah, so it's looking good. It's looking good. And still quite a few weeks if I can keep it. It's been a lot of watering. I mean, it's watering pretty much every day, really, because it's been so dry. But it's good exercise with a watering can, isn't it? So yeah, there we go. All right then. Until the next time. Bye.